Tonight on the VinceDao Show, TYT host Anna Kasparian is being canceled by the left for, guess what? Simply saying that she is a woman. It is one of the strangest things we have ever seen. I will be reacting to this viral clip of Destiny that is going around, and apparently a man won the Woman of the Year. Those are our stories for you coming up tonight on the VinceDao Show. Stay tuned, everyone. We are live tonight from the great state of Florida. Welcome everyone to the VinceDao Show. I am your host, VinceDao. And before we begin, everyone be sure to leave a like right now on the stream and subscribe if you are new. We are doing this show live every night of the week, weeknights I should say, every weeknight of the week. That's a lot of weeks, at 8 p.m. Eastern time, so be sure to join us. They are watching us tonight in Fort Worth, Texas, San Bernardino, California, Central South Carolina, and Warwick, New York. Good to see you guys. Now, let's see, how many likes are we at? We're at 26 likes. Let's get up to 50 likes, ladies and gentlemen, in the next few minutes. I know we can do that. Now, before we begin, if you do want to support the show, or if you have a question or comment that you want read and answered throughout the night, feel free to send it in as a super chat. I will be checking for super chats regularly throughout the night in between each segment, and we will be doing a Q&A portion as usual at the end of the show where I interact for a few minutes, read the super chats. It might be a little bit longer tonight because we got a little bit less news for you because the news has been kind of boring, but we do have some fun stuff for you tonight, so be sure to tune in for that. All right, before I start, be sure to leave a like on the stream while I check the time. What time is it? What time is it? It's the hour of Dow. What did that one guy want me to say? Dower for hour? Hour for dower? I don't know, but let the Vinsanity commence. Let's get into the news tonight, ladies and gentlemen. In a moment, we will be reacting to Destiny, which I know all of you guys are basically here for. But first, I think we got to talk at least a little bit about Anna Kasparian and this recent controversy over at the Young Turks. And that'll be the opening segment while we wait for everyone to pour in here. So, if you do not know who Anna Kasparian is, she is like Cenk Uyghur's co-host on The Young Turks. The Young Turks is obviously an uber-progressive left-wing outlet. Point being, Anna is the furthest thing around from a conservative. In fact, many conservatives may remember her for some of her most unhinged moments in internet history. You may remember her as the person who was yelling, like, get the F off the stage, get off the stage, at the Alex Jones run-in during the 2016 RNC. Anyone remember that? Or when she was having a complete and total meltdown on air when Trump won in 2016. So let it be understood, this is who we are talking about. We're not talking about some center-left figure or centrist. We're not even talking about Bill Maher. We're talking about Anna Kasparian, genuinely one of the craziest and most psychotic leftists out there. But this week, she tweeted out something, I guess, fairly reasonable. I wouldn't even label it as reasonable. I don't think that does justice to, like, actual reasonable ideas. But she did tweet out this in response to the trans agenda, saying, quote, I'm a woman. Please don't ever refer to me as a person with a uterus, birthing person, or a person who menstruates. How do people not realize how degrading this is? You can support the transgender community without doing this junk. So again, far left progressive woman basically just says, hey, I support the she literally says, I support the trans community, I support all gender ideology and the trans agenda, but please just refer to me as a woman because I am a woman. And she has been viciously attacked and canceled from the left for this. Just go on the tweet. Go on that thread and read some of the replies here. We got a few from you here. Mike from the Humanist Report, this is another left-wing YouTuber. He says, I respect you a lot, but this notion that the mere existence of Let me talk, assuming how he would talk. I've never heard his voice, but assuming the mere existence of trans-inclusive terms, rarely used in casual convos, somehow degrades women comes right out of the right's anti-trans war on women playbook. There's a reason that they are praising you for this. It goes on. Liz Winstead says, I'm also a woman and proud of it and fight for us every day, but not everyone who deals with reproductive issues is a woman. Oh, wait. Okay, very interesting. Speaking with inclusion does not erase your womanhood, and you actually can't support the trans community without supporting inclusion. It goes on and on. If you want to drop like 20 points in IQ, feel free to go over to that tweet and read some of the replies. But this is all for saying that she wants to be called a woman, which is very interesting, and you'll see kind of more of this theme in the Destiny clip we're about to react to. But it seems that the left has reached the point of post-feminism. Okay, they're now post-feminist. So for decades, it was women's rights, women working in the workforce, woman empowerment, all this stuff. Now they're actually post-feminist, right? You know how people are like post-liberal or post-capitalist or whatever? They're actually post-feminist. And so if a feminist in 2023 calls for feminism, they actually attack you and call you a right-wing nut job. Apparently, Anna is a right-wing nut job. Now, as an actual right-wing nut job myself, as a real and genuine right-wing nut job, I have to say there isn't much I can do but simply stand here and laugh at these people, okay? This whole world of people with uteruses, birthing persons, this is so alien to my vocabulary. All we can really do is just stand there and watch from afar and laugh at these people. But the left seriously is very angry about this. They are so angry, in fact, that her co-host, Cenk Uygur, put out a statement today on Twitter. Okay, you guys ready? So here's the Young Turks' Cenk Uygur responding, and let me read this in his voice, okay? Let me read it like he would say it. If you think I'm gonna tell my female co-host what she can call herself or what word she's allowed to use, you're nuts! You're nuts, man! You're nuts! And you don't know me at all! We do something radical at TYT. We let everyone have their opinion! I know it's a novel concept and idea, but it's an opinion! All right, thank you for that, Cenk. Now, you may read this statement and find it somewhat respectable. You might say, hey, well, at least Cenk isn't caving to the mob. He's kind of like defending free speech here. Good for him. But I don't get that vibe at all from Cenk. I actually think that this statement is incredibly weak because it doesn't actually defend what Anna said. If you kind of read through this statement, you read it again, and you read it in a serious voice, he kind of basically says, well, I don't necessarily agree or disagree, but she has the right to feel how she feels. Dude, how hard is it to say that we should refer to woman as woman? Okay? How hard is it to simply validate what Anna says as true and correct and valid? Read it. It's a cop-out answer. He goes on to say, oh, we love you and we'll fight for you, but we're not going to change our mind. And then this dork in the comments is like, when you say love and fight for you, does that include trans people? Blah, blah, blah. Unbelievable. This is what they are fighting over in liberal America. And you wonder why, like, what is a woman and stuff like that is such a big hit, because it's not even a meme. These people literally cannot define what a woman is. And now they've just given up on it, right? So first, what is a woman? Nobody knows. They can't define it. Now they're just moving on to the point of being post-feminist and post-woman altogether. Okay? Now it's just people with uteruses and birthing persons, all this stuff. It's insane. I don't think I really have to provide commentary on these things because it's so ridiculous. The ridiculousness does speak for itself. But do notice this. I will point this out. Notice kind of the degradation of language. This is something that the left does very often, okay? So basically, let me explain this. In the course of altering speech in the name of being politically correct, they will essentially make speech less meaningful and less effective, to the point to where it's impossible to truly effectively and efficiently communicate. It's impossible to basically articulate ideas. I'll give you one example. Okay, let's pick just one example of this. The term retard. Okay, so the term retard used to be a totally socially appropriate phrase to use to refer to someone who is, mentally retarded. It's not an insult. It's a medical thing. That's just what people used to call it. You're mentally retarded. Why? Because your brain is retarded. Then they said that was too mean. So then it was like mentally challenged. Okay, I guess you can still kind of understand what that means. And then that was too mean. So now it's on the spectrum, this or that. Nobody knows what people are saying. Do you see how this happens? The actual understanding of a word and its impact is lost in this sea of political correctness. Everyone knows what a woman is. Everyone is able to imagine in their head what a woman is, right? But what is a birthing person? What is a person with a uterus? What is that? Now, you may be able to deduce what is being said. You sit down, oh, okay, well, they're kind of the same thing, I guess. But it's far less efficient. It's much harder to interpret. And when you're communicating ideas, you have to be efficient. You have to be able to paint a picture coherently in people's heads, and these types of words don't allow us to do that. You see what I'm saying? I mean, just try it, right? Try this. Say the word woman out loud. Tell me the first thing you see. Okay, woman. What's the first thing you see in your head? A woman, right? Long hair, soft face, whatever. You're thinking of an adult female. Everyone does this, which is why it's an easy and effective use of language. But then say birthing person. Okay, just say that in your head. What do you picture? Like, do you even picture a woman in your head when that happens? I picture something like almost androgynous. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. They do this all the time, okay? Don't say homosexual, say gay. And now say LGBT. Wait, so what does that mean? You see what I'm saying? You see how it keeps getting lost? The way they degrade language, it makes it less useful and less impactful and less efficient. And I would argue it's all for a purpose, right? If you control language, you can control ideas, you control everything. And because leftist ideas suck, because leftist ideas are stupid, because leftist ideas make no sense, in order to implement their ideas using language, they have to make language suck, be stupid, and make no sense, right? Because leftism makes no sense. Leftist language is not going to make any sense. It's going to be very unclear. Anyways, point being, a woman is a woman. A woman is an adult female human. There's no need to make it more confusing than that. But watching this circus on the left is quite entertaining. So I do hope basically that the TYT absolutely rips itself apart. All right. Well, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the lead story tonight that you are all here for, which is this viral clip going around of Destiny. I want to remind you one time before we do that, though. Remember to leave a like on the stream. Let's get to 100 likes. And if you want to support the show and you have comments and questions that you want to be read, feel free to send in a super chat. We'll definitely get to those later tonight. All right. Well, next up, let's talk about the liberal YouTuber known as Destiny. Many of you are probably familiar with Destiny, but for those of you who are not, he's basically one of those debate me liberal type of YouTubers, right? Debate me, bro. He does all these different debates with like a million different people. And to his credit, he is not nearly as annoying as Hunter Avalon or as radical as Vosh. He's genuinely one of the more tolerable ones out there, but still, regardless, this is who Destiny is. And today I saw this clip from a Destiny fan page known as Destiny Dunks. So allegedly, we're about to see a clip of Destiny dunking on someone. This is a page that allegedly posts the best W's and moments from Destiny's debates. And they posted this clip of Destiny arguing with a woman about the issue of transition surgeries for children. Let's play it.
These kids get talking to each other and they're all on social media and they put really stupid ideas in each other's minds and they end up detransitioning later, and you can't take back a double mastectomy. Even one child, like, that's too many.
No, that's
You see what I'm
true.
saying?
No.
I totally think that.
Really? Are you anti-gun?
Am I anti-gun?
How many children have to die to gun violence for you to be anti-gun? Isn't one child too many? Like, that's an absurd statement. You can't possibly defend that.
I think gun violence is a very different conversation to like physically altering your body forever, and the consequences.
Gunshot bullet to the head is going to physically alter you pretty much forever.
Okay, so first and foremost, this is a bad argument. There is simply no correlation there. There's no logical equation. All it is a deflection. You don't want transition surgeries for kids? Well, what about guns? What about them? And by the way, the logic here doesn't even equate. If you're trying to bait conservatives on the gun control question, note that the two concepts are not even compatible. Why? Because guns are tools. Guns are objects, right? A mastectomy, which is the process of removing breasts, just a transition surgery for those of you guys that don't know what that means, is an action. A mastectomy is an action, just like shooting someone in the head is an action. Shooting someone in the head obviously is illegal. Also, to note, by the way, kids having guns is also illegal, so there's just so many angles from which the argument doesn't make any sense. But point being, the more important point is that shooting someone in the head is illegal, because shooting someone is an action, just like removing someone's breast is an action. We are not making the case as conservatives to ban surgical cleavers or anesthetics or surgical masks or whatever else because they are used to do mastectomies. We are arguing to ban the action of mastectomies. Why? Because a surgical tool, yes, could be used for a mastectomy on a young kid. It could also be used to save someone's life, right? It's just a tool, just like a gun. We're not arguing in favor of banning surgical tools or equipments. We are in favor of banning and preventing actions. It is actions that we are trying to make illegal, Destiny. So the argument doesn't equate there. And obviously, as you can tell, it's a total like non sequitur, right? It doesn't address, well, what about guns? But even then, when you break down the logic, like I said, it still doesn't make any sense. But with that said, let me say what I really want to say and what I think a lot of people, when they watch this clip right here, a lot of people are thinking, because I do like to provide the facts and logic side for people who want to hear that stuff. But let's state the obvious, okay? Destiny, you are a man in your 30s with blue hair. And you want us to view you as a serious debater.
He'll get cornered for saying some wild shit like molesting a kid is not.
I mean, let's be honest. What more really needs to be said there?
If you want to walk through the conversation,
the idea that society should take a man, or frankly, anyone with blue hair seriously is just asinine, in my opinion. You look ridiculous. You are ridiculous. You literally have the hair of a clown. Okay, that's what blue hair is. It is clown hair.
They're not a child.
And people might say, oh, well, that doesn't affect his ability to debate. You're using ad hominem. Correct, but understand it is not ad hominem. It is Chad hominem. Get that right. But, in my opinion, I think stuff like this does matter, okay? Because sure, first and foremost, in a debate, we should consider the ideas being said, of course. That's the most important thing in a debate. Is the argument right? Is the argument wrong? But are we not debating these things for a purpose? Why do we have political debates discussions? Are we not fundamentally asking ourselves, what are the best prescriptions for society and humanity as a whole? And with that understood, my question is, how can someone with ridiculously colored hair who looks ridiculous provide any degree of a non-ridiculous prescription for society? Why should a man with blue hair who also allows his wife to cheat on him in their open marriage, that's not joking, and that's not even releasing like private info, he's publicly admitted to that. Why should someone like that be taken seriously in a serious debate as a serious person?
That's what a pedophile is.
That's the type of person, this right here, this is the type of person who you want to provide serious ideas for society? And what's funny is that deep down, I think everyone implicitly knows this. Be honest, I'm not the only one who, when you look at Destiny debate, you're constantly distracted by the blue hair. You can't even really listen or take seriously what he's saying because he's saying it with a literal clown haircut.
Yes.
Somebody who's attracted to
it's distracting, it's stupid, not just on Destiny, but on everyone who does it. So, new rule here in the VinceDao community. New rule. No individual with blue or purple or red hair will be taken seriously whatsoever. I do not care if you are making the strongest arguments ever heard to man. I do not care if you have the solution to world hunger and poverty. If you have a hair color that is outside of the spectrum of natural human hair, your opinion will be disregarded. Sorry, not sorry. You're not a 6-year-old kid on Halloween. You're not a circus clown. Well, in some ways you are a circus clown, but seriously, you are an adult. And if you want me to treat you as such, perhaps a prerequisite might be to carry yourself as an adult, look like an adult, function like an adult. I cannot take a person seriously who does not present themselves as a serious person. Of course, many on the right will dissent to this. They will say, again, this is ad hominem. Hey, you can't bring that up. Aren't we the site of empirical evidence? Well, sure, yes. Again, I'm not saying that, the number one thing wrong with Destiny's argument is the fact that he has blue hair, but we're also the side that understands human nature, are we not? We understand that the ideas people subscribe to will impact the way they live their lives. And if we see bad ideas translating to bad lives, we ought to correlate the two. If a feminist is sad and miserable, which every single feminist is, if feminists are sad and miserable, is that not a reflection of feminist ideas and what's wrong with them, right? Should we not apply the merit of ideas, especially based on the fact that the people who espout those ideas are not living good lives, right? If we are debating people who literally have clown haircut colors, we ought to consider that. And on the flip side, if a bunch of right-wing and red pill people are noticeably bettering themselves every day, if they're getting stronger physically, mentally, which many of them are, and you very often see when a person becomes red-pilled, if they're happy and nice people, we ought to consider that as we discuss these ideas. Because again, what are we fundamentally debating if not the prescription for how people should live their lives? Is that not ultimately the debate we are having? I do not want to live a life like Destiny's. I do not want to be a blue-haired man in my 30s who is married to a woman that actively cheats on me and is proud of that. So why should any of us take seriously his blue-haired arguments to begin with? If he lives a ridiculous life, then he ought to be probably most likely applying ridiculous ideas to that life. Meanwhile, I look at someone on the right who does have a life that I do want to live. Let's just say a Matt Walsh, a Tucker Carlson, both of whom I use those two as examples because both of them are wealthy, and both of them are using that wealth to raise very big families with lots of children. If that's the life I want, then why should I not inherently take them more seriously as people? And again, when we look around at society, we implicitly do this all the time. We tend to listen to the opinions of old people more than young people because we assume they've lived a long life, they have wisdom. Hey, let me put it this way too. Who are you going to listen to more carefully for financial advice? Someone who is completely broke and on welfare, or someone who's a self-made millionaire, right? The person who's broke theoretically might be providing 100% sound financial advice, but who are you to trust them if the life they're living clearly does not correlate with that? Would you not trust the millionaire with financial advice? I don't know if what I'm saying makes any sense or gets through to people, but the point I'm trying to make is that when you see people who are visibly ridiculous, i.e. blue hair, i.e. they have a million different piercings and all this nonsense, you do not need to stoop to their level of nerdiness and stupidity. Why? Because simply put, you do not have time for that. We as a movement do not have time for that. There is limited time in the day. We have a limited time as a country to do what we need to be done. And that means we simply just do not have the time to sit there and debunk every single ridiculous looking hippie who's like, hey, debate me bro, with their blue hair and just ridiculous everything. So that's why I'm inventing the new rule today on this channel. If you have blue hair, your opinion is disregarded, okay? Your opinion is canceled, whatever it is, whatever we want to say. And that's about all I have to say about it, okay? No normal colored hair, no opinion. In conclusion. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, before we get to the final story here tonight, let me check out some of these super chats. We've passed 100 likes. Very good, very epic. All right, let's get to some super chats here. Nala Black for $5. Thank you very much. Says DeSantis is a dishonest hack. He gets way too much credit from the right for being based on Kyle Rittenhouse. Thank you for the $5, Nala. Appreciate it. I assume you must have watched last night's debate, which, by the way, chat, last night we did a debate like Trump versus DeSantis. Red Eagle was representing the Trump side. Gen Z right wing was representing the DeSantis side. So be sure to go check that out. But I will say, in fairness to DeSantis, I think that he does have a solid record as governor. I think is much better than just Rittenhouse. But I do share some of your concerns, Nala, about how that's going to translate to the national level. But thank you very much for the $5, Nala Black. Zachary says, for $2, says, Vince, you were talking over a video. Thank you for the $2. What do you mean? I was? You keep talking while the video is playing. It's not playing on my end. What are you guys talking about? Literally nothing is playing. What are you guys talking about?
This is his debate, his snaky debate tactics, where he'll get cornered for saying.
Oh no, I see what you guys are talking about. I see what you guys are talking about. Nala said Destiny. Thank you for the $2, Zeb. No, okay, that was my
This is his debate.
This is why we need a producer. This is why we need a producer. Okay, that's what was playing. It's so over. We ruined the whole segment. Very bad. It stopped a little bit. No, I know. It was this video was the one that was playing. Big L. All right, chat. I'm sorry about that. How long was it playing for? I want to clip that segment. How are we supposed to clip the segment? All right. I might have to just re-record that privately when we clip it. Okay. Sorry about that, chat. That's so annoying. I gotta. That's it. You know what? We need a producer. Okay, we officially need a producer. Very, very frustrated. Very, very frustrated. Every single night, something different happens, and I'm trying to manage what. We're dropping out of college and buying a studio. This is what's happening. This is absolutely what's happening. Okay. What are your thoughts on Sneeko and Aiden Ross? I'm actually probably going to do a segment about that tomorrow night. But Burgundy Blue for $5, thank you very much, says, great stream, Vince. While I think physiognomy can be accurate in many instances, it can prevent you from finding a smart person with foolish aesthetics. Thank you for the $5, Burgundy Blue, and it is true. But this is why it is the responsibility, in my opinion, of smart people to provide non-foolish aesthetics, right? And this is something I think also, yeah, the right needs to understand as well. It's like people will not take seriously the ideas of, you know, individuals who, you know, they're poorly dressed or, you know, whatever it is, you know, they look like a slob, etc. And this is a big part of the reason why I started like working out like literally every day now, besides just the many other reasons. It's I'm like, you know, you can't be, I'm already short. You can't be like a twink, right? I can't be freaking skinny and frail and then be taken seriously by people. And this is all true. This is all very true. And keep that in mind, right? Because here's the thing. You can say facts and logic. Nobody actually lives their lives 100% on facts and logic. Some people are better about that than others. But genuinely, you know, it's like if someone showed up literally in like a clown outfit, okay? If someone showed up with a clown outfit and they were about to go to a presidential debate, would you take someone literally wearing a clown costume seriously in a presidential debate? They could be owning everyone on that stage. No one's going to take them seriously. Why? Because all of us, to some degree, human beings are not 100% robots, right? We are emotional creatures. We process things also with emotions and irrationality. And I think that's fine. I actually don't think that's an issue. I think that's just part of the human existence. People can get mad at that. Hey, that's not facts and logic. But it is true, right? The vast majority of people, vast majority of conservatives, they look at Destiny, they're not going to listen because he has blue hair. And they'll be like, well, why should I listen to a 30-year-old guy with blue hair? And it's true. And then leftists do this to us, etc., back and forth. It's a reality of human nature. And this is true. This is true. Zeb Boykin for $10, thank you very much, says, for a producer. So true, so true. Thank you for the $10, Zeb Boykin. That is very annoying. That is very annoying. Thank you very much for the $10, Zeb. I'm not even going to try to say that name. I think he spelled his name by just putting his hand. He just slapped the keyboard once, and that's his name. So CFT For $5, thank you very much. God bless you for the $5. Says Aiden Ross is a menace to society. Dared his fans to abuse their family members on live. I'm not super familiar with Aiden Ross. I know who he is. The only thing I know about Aiden Ross is that he's like that idiot that Andrew Tate actually made into somewhat of a he's still an idiot, but less of an idiot. That's the only thing I know about Aiden Ross is like the Andrew Tate bullying him arc, and then him actually starting to work out and stuff. That's all I know about Aiden Ross. But thank you for the $5. Thank you very much. Says Zeb Boykin for $5 says colored hair isn't physiognomy, it's facial features. Physiognomy never lies. Thank you for the $5. Zeb, appreciate it. And dollar for $2 says just peeping in for a second at the Airplane Life Group. Good to see you, dollar for dollar. All right, really quickly, we got one last story for you, and then I'll go to Super Chats. We got a longer Super Chat portion for you tonight because, like I might have said earlier, the news has just been a bit boring. Do you guys feel that? Am I the only one? Well, actually, I know you guys feel that because I'm a type of guy who can always talk about all the political issues. Like, I don't care. Like, it's always interesting to me, or I can always find a way to make it interesting. But you guys just don't seem to care. Like about 2020. Well, we've talked. Trump DeSantis is interesting, but we can only do that so many times. Say the same thing over and over again. But whatever Joe Biden's doing, policy, it just seems like these issues don't really interest people, which is very interesting. Let me know if you guys feel the same way. But okay, well, final story of the night. This is a really quick story, but apparently a transgender won the USA Today Woman of the Year. So in other words, a man is the Woman of the Year. Chat. Guys. We really can't stop winning, can we? Okay? For decades, men, for decades, the feminists tried to put us down. They've been trying to dismantle the patriarchy. They want to oppress men, all of this. And still, men are on top. Still, the male race cannot stop winning. We are that good, okay? Men are so good at everything that we not only dominate our own spheres of excellence, apparently we win the girls too, okay? We win the women's awards. We win at women's sports. We are apparently better at women than women at being women. Just ask Dylan Mulvaney. Just ask this guy. Again, men are so good at everything, we're even beating the women at, not even women's sports, simply existing, okay? And think about this. Men are so good at literally everything on earth that the best female swimmer is who? Leah Thomas, a man. The best women's basketball player, Brittany Griner, is a man. The best first lady in U.S. history, Michelle Obama, is a man. Men are the best at everything, feminists. We are winning at everything. You guys have spent 70 years trying to dismantle the patriarchy, and it's just not working, okay? There's so many examples of this. All you women are always doing like your normal stuff. Oh, just, day whatever of being a girl. Nobody cares. Boom, Dylan Mulvaney, a man, decides to start doing it. Biggest TikTok sensation in America, okay? I'm telling you, men, we stay winning, okay? Dubs in chat. W's in chat for men, okay? The patriarchy stays on top. All right, for the record, YouTube TOS, that whole segment was a joke. We're obviously joking, okay? It is obviously wrong that, well, actually, maybe in terms of YouTube, maybe we should just run with that and not even clarify it, but, yeah, obviously it's stupid, but, hey, it is true. Men, we can't stop winning. We're that good at everything. We are that good at everything. All right, chat. Well, we'll go on to... We got about half an hour for Super Chats tonight. It'll be it'll be more fun. It'll be more fun. I won't be rushing. So if you guys want more in-depth answers, we can do that tonight. But before we get to reading the chat and Q&A, so send them in now. I have a question for you guys, though, chat, okay? I have a question for you guys. So I was having this debate earlier with a friend, and I want the VinceDao live chat to settle it, which is that should a man drive a Lexus? Okay, hold on. Let me okay, hold on. Let me put out a poll so that way we can actually like determine this question. I'll put it this way. Is a Lexus a man's car? Okay, so I'll tell you guys the backstory. So in short, I have a friend who is, he's around my age, okay? This kid is around my age. He's actually a little bit younger. He's 18 years old, but he does well for himself, right? He already has a career. He's not in school like me. He already has a career. He's already making money, and very recently he needed to buy a car, okay? And so he was looking at, and he just did. He bought a Lexus, okay? And so keep in mind, right, a Lexus is a decently expensive car, right? It's a luxury car. It is a nice car, admittedly. But I was like, so of all the cars you could have bought that were around like 30, 40 grand, however much a Lexus is, you bought a Lexus. Again, this is a conservative man my age, and he bought a Lexus. See, and I was trying to tell him, I was like, and maybe, again, this is why I'm putting it out in chat, because this is why I'm a little bit torn on it, because to me, I have always viewed Lexuses as like metropolitan, cosmopolitan liberal cars, right? And really, I think they're like women's cars. They're like, you know, middle-aged women and above who have like money and they do well for themselves, they buy a Lexus. And maybe even some like old men out there buy a Lexus. But to me, it is such like a coastal elite, like I said, like cosmopolitan liberal car. And this guy is 18 years old, has money, you know, young money. And it's like the first car you choose to buy is a Lexus. And not even a 2-door Lexus, a 4-door Lexus. I was like, dude, what do you do? And we were breaking this down. I was like, so for the price of your car, you could get a Mustang, you could get a Challenger, you could get like an actual man's car, right? And he's like, no, I want to buy a Lexus. I'm like, why do you want to buy a Lexus? What's wrong with you, dude? And I was like, first of all, that's kind of gay. Second of all, it's effeminate. Thirdly, like, who are you like a 50-year-old uncle or something? There's no excuse for a man to buy a Lexus at that age, in my opinion, if he has the money. Now, I'm not here to hate just on having a Lexus in general, because, you know, I drive, like, the car I have is like a first car, right? It's a nice car. It's not a terrible car. But yeah, it's not a sports car. It's not a muscle car, anything like that, okay? So I'm not hating on the fact just that he has a Lexus. I'm hating on the fact that he had options. This kid, again, my age, conservative, had options. He had money to buy a car. And of all the cars he could have chosen, he chooses a Lexus. Okay? And we were even talking about this. I was like, dude, because listen, we're both 18, 19 years old, single, straight guys, okay? So I was also like, dude, do you realize, listen, you're only going to be 18, 19 once. You could buy sports car, muscle car, convertible, and that is like W-Riz, right? Like that you could like drive around with a girl in the convertible, like dude, like you know, like we know, right? We understand this. And he's like, no, the girls will be more impressed with the Lexus because that's classy. Really? Yeah, maybe like at 30, maybe at 40. Oh yeah, they're more refined. We're 18, 19 years old. Girls our age don't want to ride around a Lexus. They want to ride around in a convertible sports car or muscle car. And you had the money. You had the money to buy one. And we had this big debate about it. I was like, what is wrong with you? Buy a Mustang, buy a Challenger, buy something cool. I don't know. Buy something cool. At least buy a 2-door car because you have the money. It's like money's not the issue. He's like, no. I'm gonna get a luxury car that a bunch of women drive. My mom grew up driving a Lexus, so I don't hate Lexus. I learned how to drive in a Lexus. I'm just saying, when it comes around to my first car that I buy out of luxury, not out of necessity, it's gonna be either a Mustang, a Challenger, or if I have like the money, a Corvette. Like that's what we're doing, especially like when I'm in my 20s. So let's see the result in chat. It's 50-50. It is very split on the Lexus question. Okay, 51% no is winning. Okay, I see a lot of guys in chat saying W, but it's very close in the chat. Am I just out of touch here? See, I might have a skewed opinion of this because growing up, my mom drove a Lexus, right? And so I've always associated. See, because here's how it is, right? My mom grew up driving a four-door Lexus. My dad grew up driving, he had a Nissan Z when I was really young, and then a Camaro, and then now he drives a Challenger. Okay, so maybe this is just like the gender dynamics I've always grown up in my head. Lexus is a chick car, and then like I want to be like my dad. I want to drive the cool car like my dad. So maybe that's just me being archaic and outdated. But I think there's a legitimate point here, right? A Lexus, a Mercedes, a BMW. Like I don't feel like a young money conservative guy. I just don't feel like that's our type of car. I feel like our type of car, you want to get a truck if you're country, whatever, right? He's not country, so I'll give him that. You know, the truck's kind of off the table for him. But still, get something cool, get something fast. I mean, Lexus is fast, but get something, you know, like cool. All right. And actually, I have scientific proof. I actually, forget that, scratch that. I have scientific proof that a Lexus is meant for a woman and for just like, it's an Asian car, so I guess we understand this. So yeah, if you guys have ever driven a Lexus or really any Japanese car, dude, the brakes on it are so stiff. It's like you know what I mean? It's not like normal brakes. You slow it, you hit the brakes slightly, like your car stops. Like they're like jitter, nervous, terrible driver, can't pay attention to the road type of brakes, right? So not to make a joke there about, but point being, okay? Like you can tell by the type of brakes that are on a Lexus. Okay, it's not meant for a I'm not gonna finish. I'm gonna get in trouble. But this is true. Okay, so in my opinion, it is objectively a wrong decision for him at 18 years old, when he had the money to buy like a decent car, to buy a four-door Lexus. Okay, that is a travesty in my opinion. That is one of the worst life decisions he's ever made. Okay, that's my opinion on it. I don't know. And the other thing on sports cars too, and I was trying to tell him this, and I believe this myself personally too. One of the reasons why, like, I want a Mustang or I want a Corvette is literally just the idea, the knowledge that it's not going to be around in 10 years, right? Like, this is the last decade or maybe 2 decades if lucky, but probably really the last decade to go driving around in really cool, fast cars that guzzle gas. And instead of saying, getting the Mustang, whatever, this fool gets a four-door Lexus. Okay, it looks like, okay, now Noah's at 55%, so it looks like I'm selling some of you guys on the Lexus question. Okay, but this is true. All right. With that said, I'll keep this poll up, but let me get to super chats now, if it'll let me. It won't let me scroll on here. Hold on. Okay, do I have to end the poll to scroll? All right, I guess I have to end the poll. All right, no one's with 55%, but that was actually pretty close. Richard Ruth for $5, thank you very much, says you should link up with Daniel friends. I don't know how to say that name. I don't know who Daniel is. Sav says we actually had on the show last week, right? It was like, yeah, we had on the show last week. We definitely will have her back again. So I definitely know her. I don't know who that Daniel person is. Should I know who that is? I'll look him up. I'll look into him. But Sav says yes, definitely familiar with. We had her on the show. Thank you for the $5 though. Appreciate the support tonight, Richard Ruth. God bless you for the $5. Burgundy Blue for $10, thank you very much, says, what are your thoughts on third parties in U.S. political history like the Populists and Free Soilers, and should we vote third party in the modern era? They can push big parties to change by voting for local office. Thank you very much for the $10, Burgundy Blue. See, the issue with like 51% is that I think in most cases all third parties do is divide the vote, and etc. So, on a national level, third parties are a total waste of time. Not going to happen. Even on the local level, in contentious races, it is better to just get behind a Republican. Where third parties can be an option is very, very deep red Republican places, right? So if you're in, I don't know, let's just say some rural county in Alabama with like 100 registered Democrats and it's like 80% Republican, then maybe if the local leadership there sucks, you kind of run a third party and try to win mayor, commissioner, stuff like that. But I think in general, third parties are just a waste of time. And also, we understand this, right? the main mechanism of political change in our favor is going to be by infiltrating and taking over the Republican Party, right? Ultimately, that's how, like, America First and all of the good ideas and the real conservatives, ultimately, that's how we're going to be able to, like, take back the country, is via the Republican Party. And so I think that by fixating on, like, third parties, in many ways, we're distracting and diverting resources, because where we really need to be putting in the fight is by infiltrating and taking over the Republican Party. That's the only way that large-scale change is going to happen. And so I think in many ways third parties are a waste of time. We have to infiltrate. We have to take over the precincts. You have to take over the GOP. And yeah, occasionally, if you want to, like, locally at a very small conservative deep red place, if you want to run as an independent third party, I guess go ahead. But I would say as a large-scale solution, I don't think they really are. But thank you for the $10, Burgundy Blue. Appreciate the support. And if you guys want to send in super chats, I'm reading your questions right now, so feel free to do so. But yeah, the Lexus question, I'm gonna scroll up. I want to see what people said about that. I want to hear some actual takes on the Lexus thing. Nala Black for $2 says Destiny, not DeSantis, in my last chat. Oh, well, sorry, Nala Black. That really changes the definition of the chat. Thank you for the $2. No problem. I make mistakes all the time, such as you know, playing the audio of the Aiden Ross debate for 5 straight minutes. And this is so true. Supreme Leader Admiral says he's about to go on a run listening to the Vince Dow show. Better than workout music. So true, Supreme Leader. So true. Okay? Do you need me to motivate you now? Do you need me to motivate you? Okay. Keep pushing. Real. There is no tomorrow, Rock. There is no tomorrow. So true. All right, most people were saying W, but it was like 45%. 45% of you guys said that the Lexus, that I'm wrong on the Lexus question. Lexus, more like sexist. From Luis. Real. Depends on the model of the Lexus. Again, it's a 4-door Lexus. It's a 4-door Lexus sedan. Okay. So that's what's in question here. Lexus is a more expensive Honda. Real, what color is your Lexus? He can't unironically say that to me. He should respond with that. What color is your Lexus? Exactly. It does look like an old lady car. That's what I'm trying to say. Right? Exactly. It's just a luxury division of Toyota. True. It's expensive. Well, yeah, again, he can afford a Lexus. That's why I'm like, so at least a BMW. Well, I'm not much of a BMW fan either, but it's I put them on about the same level. A reliable car. It's reliable. Okay, that part is true. But that is not what is being debated here. That is true. And that is a valid point. But, you know, reliability wise, it's not that different from Toyota or Honda. He's getting a Lexus because partly because of reliability. I'll give you that. But also partly because it's just the car that he wants, right? That's what I'm attacking. I'm like, that's the car that you want? Like, come on. So understand. Reliability, that is a true argument. That I'll grant that validity. But understand though, that was not the central thing that our big debate in this Uber ride a few weeks ago revolved around. And then today he bought the Lexus. Hey, Lexus is a nice car. I'm not saying it's not a nice car. I'm saying it's not a car for like a young man. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like a cosmopolitan liberal car, you know? Lexus is some of the best resale value. Okay, understand. I understand. Yes, good resale, reliable. I'm not denying all these things. But understand, when we were having this argument, okay, that's not what we were debating. It was a side point, but then I was also like, you know, he was mainly saying that he wants the Lexus because he likes the car. Understand that, right? I do understand all these things. I'm not denying these things. The point is, he can afford, you know, any car under like 60, 50 grand. He can afford any of these, and he chose to get a Lexus partly because he wanted the Lexus. And so that's why we were getting in an argument about this. All right, but we got new super chats here. Christopher for $10, thank you very much, says, on the topic of historical politics, what is your take on Barry Goldwater? I was looking at the GOP candidates that ran for president in 1964. It looked as if all of them were liberals and libertarians. Thank you for the $10, Christopher. Appreciate it. God bless you for the support. Barry Goldwater. it's interesting because, you know, back about 2 years ago, I actually did not like him at all because I saw him as, you know, just a total libertarian and you know, and I didn't like that. And I still have some of those criticisms of Barry Goldwater, but it's a little bit more nuanced now because when you look at sort of the different dynamics that were arguing back and forth within the Republican Party, there are many ways in which Goldwater actually was more conservative than you know, maybe the liberal faction, etc. I would also say, though, that Goldwater just was not a great choice of candidate in 1964, right? And the 1964 election was actually a very important election. Now, was it winnable to begin with because of JFK's assassination? Probably not. But yet still, I would say it was a very important election. In many ways, LBJ's re-election, I shouldn't say re-election, but LBJ winning in 1964, if you want to talk about some of the worst things to happen in this century, last century, in the context of like American elections, I should say, the effects of 64 to 68, those 4 years of LBJ, very bad and a lot of irreversible damage. And so he was not the best candidate in many ways. But it's interesting when you go through like the history of how modern conservatism came to be. There's a lot of criticisms you can make of Goldwater. There's also a lot that you got to give Goldwater credit for you know, having some semblance of a conservative quote unquote faction of the GOP that just would not have existed otherwise. And so it's pretty mixed on Goldwater is what I'll say. Thank you for the $10, Christopher. Appreciate it. Zeb Boykin for $5, thank you very much, says, libertarianism is the worst thing to happen to the GOP. It is true. Libertarian and globalism, two of the worst influences. Thank you for the 5, Zeb. Richard for another $5, thank you very much, says, Daniel Idfresny on YouTube. That's my bad, I spelled it wrong, but you did pronounce it right. Well, I think I pronounced it Idfresny. Thank you for the $5. I'll look him up. Hold on, let me write it down. Daniel Idfresny. He's a 18-year-old political commentator. He's just like me. Okay, I'll subscribe to his channel. That's just like, oh wow, he's just like me for real. Young Prodigy on YouTube. Go check him out, guys. Daniel Idfresny. I just subscribed to his channel, so there you go. Burgundy Blue for $2 says, Vince, have you heard of the YouTube? How many likes are we at? Let's get to 150 likes. Come on, 150 likes in chat. What are we doing here? $2 for Burgundy Blue says, Vince, have you heard of the YouTuber Uber Soy? I have not heard of Uber Soy. No, I'll have to look into that. Thank you for the $2, Burgundy Blue. CFT. Can I just make robot noises for his name? R2D2. He's R2D2 for $2 says, Vince, would you ever have Anomaly on the show? Yeah, I would have an Anomaly on the show. I think I'm pretty sure he knows who I am. I think we're mutuals on Instagram and maybe Twitter and stuff. I would have him on. What would you like me to interview him about? I will say that in terms of, because it is on YouTube, we might have to be a little bit careful because I know certain issues he talks about and stuff. Might have to put that on Rumble or something. I don't know. But yeah, I would have Anomaly on. I'm cool with him. He's cool with me to my knowledge. I don't know if we've really just run into each other all that much, but I would do it. I I believe we are mutuals, so don't donate to Big Lexus. So true. 1990 to 2005 was the last era where they made really good cars. This is very true. Here's the thing, okay? I never really thought about this, but very recently, for some reason, I just want a Corvette, okay? And part of the reason I want a Corvette is just because I know, like, 15 years from now, they're probably not going to exist, right? And so low-key, I'm thinking of just setting it into, like, my life goals. Like, that's my 4-year goal. Buy a Corvette. Have the money to buy. I don't have nearly the money to buy a Corvette, but buy a Corvette. And it's like, oh, but that's a little bit excessive. Do you need a Corvette at this age? Well, but understand, here's what I'm thinking. Here's why I'm thinking it, right? for my dad and for his dad and stuff, it was like, oh, well, you wait till you have money to buy a sports car, and, you know, all the 40-year-old dads and their Corvettes and their Camaros and all that stuff, you know. But I'm like, when I'm that age, I'm not going to be able to have that, right? So it's like, we got to get on this now. So I was thinking about this the other day, and then while I was thinking about it, I kid you not, I'm driving in my, you know, starter car, and guess what pulls up next to me? I think that was a sign. Okay? So this is the new mission. The Corvette is a new mission. Will for $2 just says message retracted. Well, sorry for... Okay, well, here we go. Will for the other $2, thank you very much. You didn't have to do that, but says, can you read Mine Were of Trouble by Peter Kemp? Is that a book? Mine Were of Trouble, a nationalist account of the Spanish Civil War. That actually sounds interesting. Because I don't know a lot about the Spanish Civil War. I know enough to know that the nationalists probably were right in that war. But I'll take a look. I like 70s muscle cars and trucks. I like 60s ones, but I don't know if I could ever, like, drive that, right? Because they're very expensive, first of all, and then second, I probably wouldn't even know what to do in that car. And then if you crash, like, that was before they had the back thing here, so if you crash, you, like, break your neck and die very easily. But they are cool. The 67 Mustang, unmatched. But all right, we're going to end here in 5 minutes, so any last call on Super Chats, or close out your tabs now. All right, close out your tabs now. While you do that, I will rant more about cars. I want a Corvette. I think it is a reasonable thing to want, okay? Like I said, I want it because I know I'm not going to be able to have it. I know that in 10 years, Greta Thunberg is going to make that car illegal. And I don't want to be 60 years old on everyone. I'll have my luxury Tesla, because that's going to be the only thing you're allowed to drive that's kind of cool. I have my luxury Tesla, and looking back and being like, man, in like 2025, 2026, you should have bought the last Corvette. You should have done it. Should have bought the last Corvette. Should have bought the last Mustang, whatever. Don't want to be so, and that's a message to you guys too. If you're speculating right now, should I buy a car? Should I buy a cool car? Right? Should I listen? Property, real estate, that's always going to be around. Whatever you're going to buy, this is the last era to buy like cool gasoline powered cars. So that is my official advice. Okay, if you're considering it, buy the coolest car you can right now, because you're not going to have it. One day you're not going to have it. Okay, right? In 2040, houses will still be a thing. Now, they probably won't be affordable, but you get the point. Land will still be around. Rolexes will still be around. Whatever, like, nice thing you're trying to buy. The cool American car, that's going to be done. So buy it. Buy the supercar. Buy the sports car. Whatever it is that you like, always wanted, do it now. I'm telling you. 5 years from now, some of you will look back at this, and if you followed my advice, you will thank me, because you're going to announce, it's the last Corvette. It's the last Hellcat, whatever. Okay? And you'll be like, no, I would never got to... Get it, okay? All right, last Super Chats here. Abby for $20, thank you very much, says, in other news, check out Calvin Robeson, who has a video spreading. His speech was on homosexuality and the church, which he debated at Oxford University. Thank you for the $20 from Super Donor Abby. Appreciate it. I'll definitely have to check that out. We also have a story I got to cover at some point. A police officer in Georgia got fired for privately on his own social media talking about the very question of homosexuality from a Christian perspective. So we should definitely look into some of these things. Thank you for the $20 big super chat. Jonathan for $2 says, Vince, have you read any epic fantasy? I have not. Is Epic Fantasy a series, or are you just talking about epic books about fantasy? Either way, never really read that stuff. Zachary for $5, thank you very much, says, just to let you know, I'm going to respect you a lot more in the cheapest manual than the most luxurious automatic. Well, I'm sorry, Zach. I learned how to drive in a Lexus, okay? I unironically, I don't know how to drive a manual. But if anyone wants to teach me, it would be fun. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, Vince talking... Hey, Riley. Vince talking about cool cars as if he's cool enough to have them anyway. You're just jealous you drive a Prius. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in tonight. Be sure to leave a like. Let's get to 150 likes before we go. And, all right, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed tonight's show. If you did, let me reiterate that. Be sure to leave a like. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the final show of this week. Hopefully the news will get more interesting. There's not a lot of interesting news. We might have to, but you guys did enjoy the rant about the Lexus. So maybe we should just integrate more fun segments into this podcast while we wait for the news to be interesting. But all right, remember to leave a like before you go. And until next time, Alpha moves only. Everyone have a very good night. God bless you and peace.